We started with a can, added 200, no 250, no 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, extracted from plants. Yeah, plants. So you could do this, but not this. Vitamins B3, B6, B12, you're welcome. BCAAs, that just happened. Plus electrolytes, because sweat, and CoQ10, because we had room. And then we made it taste good, without the sugar. Now, go drink it. That's how we made Rain total body fuel.
Let's go. All the way up. Go.
Ukraine, a country with breathtaking history in the geographic heart of Europe. For centuries, different civilizations were contending for its rich lands and hard-working nation. But the spirit of Ukrainian unity and true love for its own homeland prevailed, and even became a shelter to different nations from all over the world. Nowadays, Ukrainian landscapes, architecture, people, and traditions are diverse yet unique and exciting. Hospitable, friendly, open-minded, and strong people live here. It is the land of Cossacks, world-famous scientists, writers, artists, Hollywood stars. It is the native land of Alexei Novikov.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome you on today's outstanding event, world record-breaking attempt. 4-time Ukrainian strongest man, one of the top 10 athletes in the world, and in the same time, the youngest one, Alexei Novikov, will try to beat 100-kilo dumbbell. Are you excited? Because I do. Let's join the show.
Alexei Novikov.
My motherland is charming Ukraine. I was born in its noble capital, Kyiv. Some part of my life I was in a role small brother. That's the point where my story begins.
Мене звати Саша, я Льошин старший брат.
My name is Alex, and I'm Alexei's bigger brother, elder one, if to be correct. All our childhood, we were together and with our grandpa traveled across the Ukraine to watch different strongman competitions.
I was a teenager and started to visit a gym with my older brother. He advised me to contact with professional coach for safety training.
At the early beginning, all the family had a lot of skepticism and worries. This sport is really dangerous and full of injuries. But after our first competition in Lithuania, where Alexei got in top 3, everything has changed.
So yeah, the greatest motivation for me now is the fact that my mom, dad, brother, sister, grandpa, granny, and even dogs are the main fans and supports of my success. For now, I'm one of the top 10 athletes in the world. I'm very proud of it and I work hard to become better each day.
Today all the family works like one watch and every gear on the right place. Mom and sister cook, grandpa and dad make equipment, support team during tournaments is my mission. We'll always be near him, helping to become a legend.
I dream about World's Strongest Man, World Ultimate Strongman, Arnold Strongman Classic titles. And remember, no excuses, only way up.
And welcome to the World's Ultimate Strongman Strength Feat Series. It's Saturday the 30th of May. I'm here with Lauren Shalley and we are about to witness Alexei Novikov, the young tyrant, attempt 100 kilo giant dumbbell for repetitions. How's it going, Loz? How are you?
Really good, buddy. I'm really excited to be back for another feat of strength this week. We've already had some amazing feats go down. Last week, Tom Stoltman breaking the stone record. This week, we've got another one of the top youngsters in the world in Alexei Novikov going for a 100 kilo dumbbell for repetitions in 75 seconds.
I think what's awesome to see, especially from the intros into the feats of strength, is the sort of background of the athletes. That's the first time I've sort of seen those clips on Alexei.
Yeah, definitely. I was just watching that myself, and it was really quite. I think he even thanked his support network. He included his dogs in that.
Yeah,
to see how his family kind of have got around him and really helped him, and it just shows what a talented athlete he is, but how important having that support is. I know myself as an athlete, it's very, very lonely as a competitor, and you do need that support network around you. And he's obviously got a great family, very, very supportive, and he's already at such a young age one of the best strength athletes in the world.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think is he 24 this year?
I think he's still currently 23. He's an incredible athlete. I've competed against him a couple of times now, and I've seen him in many, many contests, and he's really explosive and dynamic. He's fast. He's just a very good all-round athlete. He's not the biggest, chunkiest guy out there, but he makes sure he gets every single muscle fiber of his being into each movement he does. And, he's only going to grow and get bigger and stronger, and his future is looking bright.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit of a dark horse in terms of being an all-round athlete and being very young. He has that time to progress and push into, let's say, the top three podium sort
without
of stages.
Question. I mean, he's been talked about big time in many contests recently, and he's made a few, mistakes which youngsters do. And I've spoken to him in the past, and I've watched him being, for want of a better word, older and wiser, if you like, because I've made all those mistakes myself in the past. I sometimes you see him competing very regularly. You think maybe he needs to be a little bit more selective about his contests. But I think this enforced break that he's had to have is actually going to help him, because he's been focused on these records. He's not beating himself up week on week doing contests. I think he's it's probably been a really good thing for him. And I think going forward, if he's selective about his shows, keeps training hard, this kid can do some big things in the sport.
Yeah. And as you say, he's very fresh on the scene. I think his first pro show was last year.
Yeah, I think. Well,
he won South America Arnold's.
He's done very, very well, but he's competed a lot in that short time frame, and he's just burst onto the scene, like I've already said. And events like this, he's really specializing. The dumbbell, he's very good at stone carrying. He's a lot smaller than the guys we've seen in the last few weeks. I think he's only about 6'1". Body weight wise, he's one of the smaller guys, but you can even just see there warming up on the dumbbell how explosive he is, how dynamic. He gets every single bit of his body into this movement and punches the weight overhead very, very efficiently and effectively.
Yeah, I think that's one we need to look out for today is his technique. It's almost flawless.
Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yeah, no, his technique is second to none. I think the only other guy on the dumbbell is probably Mateusz Kieliszkowski.
Kieliszkowski's done some incredible things on the dumbbell as well. I think he's the current record holder for maximum weight. But today we're doing a slightly different event, so it's 100 kilos, which is 220 pounds, for maximum repetitions.
To put that into perspective, that's my body weight, 100
Yeah.
kilos. So he's pressing a grown man above his head.
A big grown man as well. You're a strong man, Mark. You're
less of a grown man with my beard gone, but
it's looking smooth. You're looking good there. Looking
I
fresh.
thought I'd sharpen up for the occasion.
I'm just getting more and more grizzly as the weeks go on in lockdown.
I'll need to send you a brush over there or a set of clippers. So today, obviously, we have Zydrunas Savickas back on the scene as the official referee. He's going to have a few points to note in terms of the dimensions of the dumbbell, how high the platform is that Alexi's going to be dropping it on. Obviously, he's going to make sure that Novikov is fully locked out and his hips and torso are in line. And yeah, he's going to be in charge today yet again.
Zydrunas will be back to work this week. Obviously, last week there wasn't an awful lot for him to do, but he with the dumbbell, it is all about making sure the athlete is steady. The dumbbell will be fixed and locked out overhead. It's a little bit more for Zydrunas to do, and it's not even a one repper this time. It's for repetition. So he's going to be watching. We know with the log, Zydrunas can take a little bit longer on the down signal. So I don't know how that will affect the time limit that Novikov has, whether that will affect his rhythm or not. But looking at his technique in the warm-ups, his lockout looked extremely efficient and strong. So I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah, no, so what we've done today is we actually have a referee on the ground who will be given the down signals. And Big Z will essentially be overwatch and he'll be sort of given the final call on yes or no. But we will have someone on the ground sort of giving the signals.
Obviously, Ukraine right now, the lockdown isn't as strict as the UK, that's for sure.
Oh.
He's got a lot more people there than we'd be allowed right now, but things are improving. So hopefully we'll be back in gyms training soon and back to some full contests as well.
Well, hopefully. We've just opened up in Dubai, but we have to wear face masks.
Is it limited to a certain amount of people in the gym at a time?
Yeah, 50% capacity, and you have to book for 60 minutes, face mask on at all times.
Yeah. It's still better than we have here. I think that we're looking at the soonest that we'll be able to train in gyms over here is probably looking at July. So still another wait, a month to wait. And I think you can probably tell I'm itching to get back in the gym. Watching these events each week, I watched the deadlift and I wanted to go deadlift. I watched the log, I wanted to go do the log. You see these awesome feats of strength, and it does motivate you. And it still motivates me after doing strongman for as long as I have. Seeing these guys perform like they are, it is uplifting and it's exciting to see. And I've always been a fan of strongman, way before I even lifted a weight. So, and I think I always will be. So I'm enjoying it, and it's just great to be a part of it.
I know that's what's good as well. Just being a spectator, it gives you that fire to sort of go and lift some weights or go and train, or gives you that buzz.
It is good. This is so much better than just sitting around waiting for strongman to be back. The way the World Ultimate Strongman have given us this opportunity, the athletes are loving it, the fans are loving it. There's people talking about it online. It's been really, really good.
So what do you think with Novikov today? How many reps do you think he's got in the bag?
Oh, he's such a The thing with Novikov is I've seen him occasionally go like a bat out of, a bull in a china shop sometimes, if you like, and he can make errors and make mistakes.
The Rhino, I think we need to give him a new nickname, the Rhino.
If he controls that kind of, if he can compose himself and focus on his technique and his efficiency, I think he's going to smash this record. I can see double digits. It's just occasionally in contests I've seen him make silly mistakes, and that is, his youth is his inexperience, and hopefully the contests that he's had over the last couple of years have given him more experience. He's in familiar grounds, which will help today. And I can really see him, at least getting double figures on this. He times it right, hits each rep how he should. I mean, like I said, technically, in the warm-ups then, he looked absolutely superb. So it's making sure that technique transfers now to the heavier weights, which I'm sure it will. I know he's done a lot more than this for one rep. It's then how the conditioning is and not making any silly mistakes so he doesn't drain that energy that he'll have for his, end goal.
Yeah, I think in training he was hitting 80 kilos for 10 reps, and they were every single rep was the exact same from the pickup to the press. And then I don't know if you've noticed how he controls the weight down.
It's something, the first person to really do that was Derek Poundstone. And he took it to another level in terms of performance on the dumbbell by being efficient. And it's something when I'm training people, I'm always talking about, it doesn't matter if you're the strongest guy, you need to be effective with it as well. And I've seen Novikov beat the likes of Ian Bibi on the dumbbell before because he's better at it. He's not not stronger in the shoulders. I genuinely believe Ian Bibi to be the strongest man in the shoulders for pure strength on the planet. But guys like, Krzysztof Radzikovsky, Kilias Koski, Novikov, they're technically better. They're a little bit more skillful in the movement, and their fitness is a little bit better for these type of repetitions.
And if we just look in here, we've got the guys weighing the dumbbell, 100 kilos, 0.1. Hopefully Big Z will get eyes on that and give the thumbs up. Yeah.
Was that Vasil Verastic we just saw kind of sneaking in?
Yeah, it was.
Former world's strongest man in 2004. He was one of my absolute favourites when I was kind of getting into strongman.
Yeah,
so that was quite a cool thing to see. I didn't know he'd be there today, but
I think he's there in support.
Excellent. That's cool. He really was an incredible strongman. I don't know if you know too much about him, but he won the IFSA World Championships. He won World's Strongest Man. He was such a powerful athlete, strong legs, very, very fast at things like yokes and farmers walks. And I think he really put strongman on the map in the Ukraine. So, guys like Novikov have obviously seen him and been inspired.
Yeah. Do you think he would have given you a run for your money on the yoke?
The measurement.
Oh, he was fast. He really was. Whether he was Big Loz fast is yet to be seen. But it's all generational. You got guys that are overtaking me now on those type of events. Kilias Koski, he's unbelievable at the moving events. So, I had my time. I had my yoke run in Dubai a couple of years ago where I beat absolutely everyone, and I can retire happy now.
You nearly ran off the stage.
I was switched on for that one. I was definitely up for that day.
Fired up for it, and that's one thing with Novikov. He doesn't express his emotions. It's almost as though he channels everything inside. He's always very stern, very composed, and how he goes about things. Like he'll look this relaxed when he's lifting.
It's quite an Eastern Bloc type of, mentality. I think you don't see them express too much emotion. They don't, use up too much energy. A lot of guys that kind of get themselves psyched up and they burn a lot of energy before they even lift. He's trying to save it for the actual lift. But even when he does it, sometimes you don't even see too much energy. It's all put into the actual lift. He's a calm character. I didn't realize he was young as he was when I first met him, but he's partly because of how strong he was, partly because of that kind of controlled, emotion that he has. You see some of the younger guys, and they're all over the place. They're listening to kind of music. They're putting, blankets over their heads, and then they're getting all psyched up. Whereas Novikov is a lot more calculated, a lot more thoughtful, and then when it's time to unleash, he switches on.
Yeah. I think in the long run as well, that will benefit him. If he can keep this composure and just start or continue to build his knowledge and how to compete in terms of learning from his mistakes, this will definitely help in the long run.
100%. I was completely opposite. I was a very emotional kind of athlete. And, I'd psych myself up. I'd beat myself with a stick. And it was great for one or two events. But then in a 6-event contest, by event 3, event 4, event 5, you were just drained. And it took me a long time to kind of understand that I had to control it. I still find when I release that inner beast, if you like, it allows me to do some special things. But if you let it go too far, it's not good in terms of the whole competition. So understanding how to control those emotions is very important. And he's mastered it from a young age.
Yeah. And the guys are just sort of getting the dimensions of the dumbbell. They're going to get the diameter of the bell and the height of the actual dumbbell.
Again, we're just getting all the measurements for all these records. The weights are always going to be weighed in front of us, in front of Zydrunas to see.
The handle isn't necessarily relevant as part of the measurements, but they're measuring it anyway just to show Zydrunas.
Zydrunas is looking on there. I think he's happy. It's always hard to tell when Zydrunas is about.
As you say, it's an Eastern European thing, right? And
he's actually a very funny guy when you get to know him, but he's got a very dry sense of humor. And if you don't know him, you don't know how to take him sometimes. I'm not sure what they're discussing right now. I don't speak Russian.
I think they're communicating that we need to the bell, so they need the diameter, not the circumference. So they'll probably work with the side of the dumbbell. There's obviously a little nut on the end there that they'll need to sort of work around in terms of measuring.
The thing with dumbbells, they're all very different in shape and diameter, and even in contest, weight varies from comp to comp. It's a little bit different to some of the other records that we've had, like the deadlift and the log for max, if you like. This is the first time we've seen a repetition record attempt as part of this series, so it's something different for you guys, and a little bit more normal for a proper contest.
Because that as well as the sort of static movements, there's always the dynamic movements that are under time. If anything, the majority of the strongman competitions, the majority of the competition itself will be the dynamic movements. There's not only necessarily one maximum lift per.
Yeah, normally you're looking at 5 to 6 events in a contest with one max event. A number of moving events, a repetition event. It always varies from competition to competition. That's what's, for me, it's the exciting thing about strongman is you can never predict anything because we all have different strengths, we all have different weaknesses, and every contest is different. So you have to be a real good all-round athlete to be winning contest after contest. But we're seeing a lot of guys that specialize in certain events taking on these records, and it's giving athletes that maybe aren't the Thor Bjornssons and the really well-known guys a chance in the spotlight.
And that's it. And that is one of our sort of ethos is to get these guys out on the spotlight for the spectators and the fans and the community to actually learn about these athletes. Because Novikov is really a dark horse in the strongman game.
He really is.
I think it's really inspiring as well. Especially, he's not a big lad. He's very young.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at Tom Stoltman last week, who's become very popular over the last couple of years. And Tom is a giant. He's 6'9". He's 160 plus kilos. Novikov is about 6'1", 130 to 135 kilos max. He's a much smaller athlete, but he is one of the best. And it just shows, I think it's good for people to see different body shapes and different size athletes. It's good as well if you're around the 6 foot mark. This is the kind of guy you should be trying to look at his technique and pick up tips from. If you're 6'9", go and watch guys like Thor and Tom. It's good to look at different athletes and see that it's possible, no matter what your shape, no matter what your leverages are. There's ways of doing things, and all the athletes have little technical changes and subtle things that they do slightly differently.
You see, the guys are still measuring the dumbbell. Just for the guys looking in, the diameter of the dumbbell can range between 10 and 12 inches, and the overall length can be between 20 to 24 inches. So, as part of the rules, there is a little bit of a range. Obviously, a lot of the giant dumbbells vary in shape and size, so we've gave that range so that athletes can attempt it, but it's not too excessive to the point that it benefits anyone necessarily. Hopefully they'll finalise it soon. I'm sure Novikov is itching to get on.
Yeah,
smash it out.
he will just want to be lifting. As the athlete, you don't really like the waiting around. You just want to be focused on the lifting. He's stood out the way. He's letting everyone else sort out this dumbbell, do the measurements. Now he's coming to have a look at it, is he? Nope, he's off again. So this week, it's not like we've seen. He's not going to be doing lots of warm-up lifts in terms of event lifts. He's only going to have one attempt at the record. It's set at 100 kilos. I had some questions last week. Someone was saying, with the events like the max effort lifts, like the deadlift and the log, someone was asking if it wastes their energy going for these attempts beforehand. And not at all. With max events, you're trying to get your body prepared for these lifts. There's no way I would just walk into the gym and deadlift 400 kilos or 400 plus just because
it's just that nervous system, getting the nervous system firing.
And it's, we said last week, a lot of it is to do with getting used to the environment that you're lifting on. Just even going, a lot of the time in competition, you'll go from a warm-up area to the lifting area. And sometimes you just need a lift to get you used to that change and the change of equipment, the change of flooring. There's so many different aspects that can all affect when you are competing. So I wouldn't advise anyone just try and jump in and lift as much as you can. You need to get your body warmed up. You need to get your technique firing. Just like a tennis player would go out and practice a forehand before a match. They do their serves, they go through their forehands, their backhands. It's all getting yourself ready for the event.
Muscle memory, and confidence as well. I think going in and pulling a lighter weight and feeling that it's comfortable and it's firing gives you that extra 5%.
For me, I mean, you're a big deadlifter. For myself, when I'm training and I pull 300 and it just moves really, really quickly.
Yeah,
it's a nice feeling. You sort of think, I'm feeling strong today, and you know that those higher numbers are going to feel good. And it's, when you pull 300 and it's hard and it's sluggish. Well, I mean, I'm talking 400 plus deadlifters, but it's a knock to the confidence if those lighter weights don't move well. So, you want to make them feel easy, and then it builds that confidence. You're like, yes, today I'm feeling good. I'm going to go and lift these big weights, no problem.
So Novikov, he's circling that dumbbell, sniffing the ammonia, getting himself riled up, getting himself ramped up.
So we've got the 100 kilos loaded.
So
we just spoke earlier how he stays calm. You're just seeing him switch on a little bit now.
Yeah. He's got the headphones in, geeing himself up. I think they're discussing the platform.
I'll be honest with you, as an athlete, this isn't what you want. You want to be able to just get on with it. He's focused on the lifting. There's a lot of talking going on for him. This will be distracting.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, they're measuring the height of the actual implement itself.
Does it have to come off a certain height?
6 inches. So no more than 6 inches.
Okay.
So this is another factor, and especially with competing, these little things happen in competition, and a lot of people say that these feats of strength will be easy. It's just another sort of gym lift, but all these little factors are going to take a toll on Novikov mentally.
Yeah, he won't be happy about this, not at all. And as an experienced athlete, you've got to block it out. And he's got to walk away. He's got to kind of stay calm, refocus on the job at hand. Let everyone sort this out. He needs to just keep calm and get himself focused on what he needs to do. But it is distracting. I've been in this situation before, and it's not fun. You mentally prepare yourself for these things, and then if you're told to wait suddenly again, it is off-putting.
I think it's Big Z playing the mind games.
Well, I think Zydrunas is trying to make sure that all these attempts are refereed as strictly as possible, which I think is a good thing. But it just could be, maybe language barriers with rules and stuff like that can obviously have an effect.
I think, Big Z being known as the greatest of all time and just making sure everything is spot on. Yeah, the guys are going to change the platform now, so Novikov will obviously be used to using the tire and the mat in training. So this last minute change will change things up a little bit, I think.
It makes it interesting, definitely. You know, he won't be happy about it. There's no question about that. But he's a calm athlete. I think he's going to be okay. I'm sure other athletes would be complaining a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. No, he looks composed as ever.
We are a community dedicated to those who love fitness and food.
We have a mission to show that you can pursue your personal fitness goals and enjoy the process.
We are committed to creating a community where you can be and should be proud of your body.
No matter what stage of the fitness journey you are on.
From fat to fit.
Hit them PRs, make them gains, and eat that donut.
Join the brand, join the message, join the movement.
Hi, my meal is my power. So, let's check this out. I like flavor of the meat.
Мы с Лешей познакомились.
I've met Alexei near 4 years ago, and after a small chat, I realized that this guy has willing to win, and for sure he ready to put all his efforts to do that. That was our starting point to find the right way with workout capacity, training process, and nutrition. We found our perfect model to grow up and become stronger, even though at this exact moment it's his recovery session. No chance to work with maximum weight all the time. You just need always remember that we still are humans. 4 or 5 meals per day with equal intervals, and as a result 4,000 calories for now and 7,000-8,000 during his usual routine when we have an exact competition schedule.
My body weight now 130 kilograms and 7,000 calories enough for me.
Vegetables and big portion of protein in the morning, carbohydrates with some fat in the noon, and the same story for lunch and dinner for 6 days in a row. Sunday is a food-free day, the biggest challenge for each strongman.
Meat, fish, eggs, vegetable and porridge are my basics. It's very important to keep a balance of vitamins and other ingredients. We are what we eat.
So I think they're just going to sort out that 6 inches, no more than 6 inches.
I can't believe we just sat here talking about 6 inches, Mark.
I know, yeah.
We're supposed to be commentating on a strongman event.
We'll save that for another day.
So they're just
It's been quite a while from his warm-up left as well. So
it was a good 15-20 minutes ago now.
Yeah.
This is this makes it interesting. You know, you don't want to be cooling down. He's obviously done his warm-ups and he felt ready to go. He was preparing himself for that effort then. And then obviously we had this discussion about the flooring. Now they're bringing some new matting.
This could affect things like the bounce of the
if he's
like
not
the
trained on this.
recoil and could be different.
There's an awful lot of faffing about this week on this event. So
yeah.
It's bringing a new dilemma, you know, a new issue that we do experience in contests, and it's something it's always good to make people be aware of, because you'll often see top athletes not performing as maybe a higher level as you would expect in certain contests. I remember I did a few contests years ago where I was traveling all over the world. I went to Texas for a contest, then I flew to China, then I had to fly to Canada, all within a short period of time. And I remember I failed, I think it was a 180 kilo Atlas stone. And I remember people online saying, "Oh, Loz failed a 180 kilo stone. I can do that." Blah blah.
Without
blah.
knowing,
Knowing, but these same people that were saying, "Oh, you know, I could do that," they lose to me in a contest. There's a lot of factors that do, you know, crop up in events, and these type of events, like for instance the dumbbell, it's a little bit more strongman-y, rural kind of, you know, less standardized. The deadlift is much easier for us to set up because it's the same bar, you've got the calibrated plates, it's the same across the board.
I think that's what a big difference with the Olympics is. Almost, you've got, I think it's 4 years, the dates are set, and you have that time to prepare. You know the platform you're going to be lifting on. You know the sort of equipment you're going to be using. Strongman, it sort of separates the boys from the men and just sort of says, right, there's an implement, go and lift it.
It does indeed. I've always enjoyed that side of strongman, the variety and, you know, the different types of challenges and the way you have
primal.
to adapt.
It's very primal.
It really is. But the best guys, you look at the best guys and they will always adapt to, you know, they don't need to know every single aspect of the diameter of a handle or how high the platforms are going to be. And, you know, the best guys, they can adapt very, very quickly, and they know if you're strong, you're strong.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of strongman as well, is just the aspects that can vary and the athletes that overcome those different aspects. So they're stripping out the few layers.
So they're making sure they stick to these rules. It's good. Obviously not what they want to be doing right now. I'm sure of that. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, "Oh, come on, guys, let me get on with it." But we've got to make sure it's right.
Do you think this will affect Novikov negatively or positively? What do we think?
It's certainly not going to affect him positively. It's just a matter of him staying composed and thinking, "Okay, this has happened. I can't do anything about it. I've just got to focus on what I'm here to do." And that would be something I'm pretty good at these days, is trying to block out the things I have no control over. And I think as long as he does that, it's not going to be an issue. He needs to keep moving around, keep the blood coming around the body, make sure he stays warm. And he looks like he's just leaving everyone to sort out the platform. He look in his face, you can see he looks focused.
Yeah.
But there are people that would let this affect them. There's no question about that. I know plenty of people that this would affect. I'm hoping it's not going to be him.
Even little things like wearing your support equipment for longer than you sort of presume you're going to be having it on, that can have an effect as well. Even having that elbow sleeve on tight.
Yeah. Well, I've got a training partner. If I put the plates on the wrong way around, that'll put him off. And I do it all the time to annoy him, but it is funny how these little things can affect people.
Right, so he's just getting himself finalised, set up. The dumbbell and the little platform is ready.
So looking at this, I'm presuming he's going to keep it all on the right arm, with the wrist straps only on the one arm.
He's just testing the bounce.
So there are different athletes with dumbbell. Some are able to use both arms. Others prefer to stick with the one arm. Derek Poundstone was someone that was very, very good at changing. Then you get other athletes. Myself, I would always stick to my right arm. It just felt alien on the left arm when I was doing the dumbbell.
So we're going to wait for
refocused.
The on-ground referee. He's going to sort of give the commands. This is the first time I've seen Novikov actually G himself up for this.
He's switching on now.
He's getting in the zone now. The headphones are off.
There we go. Whistle. First rep. Easy.
Easy. How he drops this is going to be the test. Obviously, with the new platform.
Look how he brings it down onto the platform. It did bounce off, but you can see how he controls it in front of him. Trying to say, oh, that was a good lucky bounce there.
Yeah. Need to catch this bounce.
Yeah.
4 reps.
He's got confidence in the way that's going to flip back.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's 5 reps. He's smashing this. He's absolutely smashing.
Reps, the actual reps are effortless.
Yeah, no fatigue, no signs of fatigue.
Let's remember, this is 100 kilos. This is, a 16-stone man. This is, a big weight. He's making it look very, very comfortable.
This is rep number 9. Easy.
He's making this look effortless. Look how he sort of punches it and catches it at lockout. He's not really pressing the weight. It's an explosive movement, lots of leg power.
And just a reminder, this is the same weight as myself, so 100 kilos.
Is that the
smashing
record?
it over
There we
left.
go. Easy as that.
Easy. That was no problem. And I think he has
more
a few
in him.
seconds left. That was the timer just went off there. So he had a few. He probably had about 2 more reps in him there. The timer just went off.
Very, very comfortable.
And we're going to have a little replay of how efficient and how smooth that was for Novikov.
He's an extremely well-trained athlete in that movement. Every single rep from the first to the last looked the same.
It was flawless. Just see the initial swing. He's not using any arms at all, I think, in this movement. His shoulders won't be fatiguing.
The way he keeps the one end of the barbell right tucked in behind his neck, over onto the other trap, and then lots of leg power, punches it overhead, very fast lockout. He's not trying to press it out, he's trying to punch it and catch it at lockout.
That's one thing with the giant dumbbell as well. As soon as you start actually using the shoulders and pressing power, you'll blow yourself out. So he's so efficient in using his full body to power up through the implement, generating the power from the legs.
Every single rep, right under his center line. He's not kind of letting the dumbbell get away from him. A mistake a lot of people make is they punch away from them, and then it's just all on the delts. It's going to come like flying down. Every rep, he gets under it, nicely tight into his head.
That's a new technique I've seen where he's actually letting the dumbbell come down, almost a thumbs down position to the front, which is a similar technique to Derek Poundstone, you were saying?
Yeah, very similar. Derek was always very, very good at making sure the dumbbell came down in the same place. You see a lot of people, they press and then they just drop it.
Dump it, yeah.
And then it would go anywhere. Whereas Derek used to control it down in front of him, touch the floor, straight back up. Derek actually kept hold of the dumbbell, whereas Novikov has the confidence to let go of it almost.
Yeah. And that's one thing as well. The athlete is allowed to use both hands to bring it to the shoulder, but must press overhead single arm. I say press for Novikov. He's literally just jumping.
Look how high his elbow is. It's just perfect technique. If anyone is wanting to get good at this event, watch this man. His technique is absolutely perfect.
It's phenomenal. And he had...
Tight into the neck, elbow really high, lots and lots of leg power. Maybe a tiny bit of fatigue coming in towards the end. His tricep had to do a little bit of work at the end there, but that was very, very efficient, very effective. The man is a world record holder.
He is indeed the world's ultimate strongman record holder with a giant dumbbell for reps. That was no problem at all for him. and he had a few more in the bag.
We are a community dedicated to those who love fitness and food.
We have a mission to show that you can pursue your personal fitness goals and enjoy the process.
We are committed to creating a community where you can be and should be proud of your body.
No matter what stage of the fitness journey you are on.
From fat to fit.
Hit them PRs, make them gains, and eat that donut.
Join the brand, join the message, join the movement.
As a record holder.
Catching his breath.
And, you know, like we said, he's a calm, calculated man. There was a little bit of a cheer, but it wasn't huge. You know, we've seen guys a lot happier after events. I'm sure internally he's still very happy, but they don't show their emotions as much.
Well, Novikov obviously being the first to actually attempt and set this record. There's no other records for Giant Dumbell in terms of 100 kilos, 75 seconds. So he will be the initial and record holder for this event. So let's see who we can sort of put up to maybe pinch it off him. What do we think?
I'm sure there's a few guys.
Think he can hold this for a while?
I think there's a few guys. I think he could beat it. Watching that performance there, and I think there's a couple of guys that could challenge it. I mean, when it comes to dumbbells, Kiliaskowski is extremely good.
Yeah,
extremely good.
That was a bit of a Usain Bolt attempt, where there's a little bit left in the tank.
Yeah,
he can push it further.
And you know, we've seen with Zadrunas on the log in the past how if he broke a record, he didn't really destroy his record. He just crept it up and up and up and kept beating his own record. Maybe that's Alexei's plan is to come back and beat it again.
The key maybe to longevity and the key to gaining strength, I think, is keeping some in the tank.
If you want a long career, definitely. You know, we've seen someone like Zadrunas who has had an extremely long career, just progressed slowly, if you like, over time. Some of the guys that improve extremely quickly, their careers are a lot shorter.